July 21st, 2023, SmackDown. Where? On FS1. And we're here tonight on the Wrestling Inc. podcast to talk about what might be the least watched SmackDown of the year. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined as always by NYC Demon Diva Isa and Mr. Alfred Konuwa tonight to talk about our contenders for the United States Championship, to talk about what is going on with Dominic Mysterio's historic North American title.
Very historic.
So mad I wasn't here to talk about it on Tuesday.
I know.
Oh, man, missed a good one. The shock was still very much in the air for the whole hour. So I think it made for a better
What
podcast.
shock? It was so expected.
I mean, I don't think it was expected. I think it was I was very taken aback by that.
We're going to talk about the latest developments in the Bloodline. We're going to talk about what's going on with LA Knight, or what isn't going on with LA Knight.
Yeah.
All
Daniel
that
Bryan,
and more tonight.
2023.
Yes. All that and more on tonight's Wrestling Inc. podcast. Before we dive into the SmackDown proceedings, Alfred, what's going on in the news?
Well, let's roll out the best for first. Future Emmy Award-winning documentary, American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, contains footage from All In and Being the Elite. Not to say AEW, but it will contain footage for All In and Being the Elite. I may or may not have already seen this documentary. I do think it should win an Emmy. I think it's one of the best that you'll ever see in any WWE platform. But what do you expect to see in terms of AEW-related footage, Glenn?
Maybe he's duct taping that throne back together.
That should be a WrestleMania Access, honestly, if they're good sports about it.
Yeah, right. Does he have the throne, you think, or do you think AEW was like, we own
in his
that?
house?
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
Then they should. They really should. I mean, maybe I think they should send it to Access. I think that'd be a very fun exhibition.
Yeah. I think I've heard good things about this documentary. I almost wonder, though, are they overhyped? Is it overhyped at this point? Is this going to be like Oppenheimer? Or have we built up the expectations so much that there's no way it can possibly live up to them?
Maybe by me saying that it's going to win an Emmy, yes. But in terms of WWE's production machine, they just started it. I know they've been doing this documentary for about 2 years. These cameras have been following him around. I think since the day he started with WWE, they've been planning this documentary, and I haven't heard any hype until recently, which is
probably
only
gave
a
up
couple
on
of
him
weeks out.
finishing the story and said, let's just wrap up this documentary. We can keep following him around for another 5 years.
No, they can, and there's going to be a part 2, and it's going to win another. You know, the part 2 is probably going to win an Oscar because they're going to make.
Why weren't you at the red carpet event, Alfred? Since you are Cody Rhodes number
I've got
one,
way too much going on here in LA to go to. I just took a vacation. I can't just keep flying. I'm going to SummerSlam. Like I can't just keep flying around the world. You know,
great. That's where you'll be buying that dinner you owe me.
Well, one of these days, yeah, I'll get you.
One of these days. Wow,
are you gonna be in Detroit?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Okay. Olive Garden, it is.
Wow, you're not gonna go.
We're going to Applebee's.
Oh, we're going to Applebee's. Okay.
You're not gonna be local and go to like Little Caesars.
What the hell, Glenn? Bye.
Little Caesars tastes better in Michigan than anywhere else in the world. I'm just putting that out there.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah. Trust me on this. But no, I think this is going to be an interesting documentary. I think it's been highly built, though. And that's the problem, though, sometimes. We build up these expectations a little too high.
Yes.
And will there be any details left? Will there be any surprises left by the time it premieres?
Let me tell you, if it's half as good as the Dusty Rhodes documentary that they did on A&E, I think it's going to be incredible.
Okay.
Not that I think. I mean, I know. Don't ask me how I know, but I think people are going to really like this documentary. I'm going to lower your expectations, and then maybe you'll really love this documentary. How about that?
So when the charcuterie
from everything, so
when the charcuterie goes up now, is it all cut in the shape of the American Nightmare tattoo?
No, never. There's still no crackers in it because I refuse to have any crackers in my charcuterie. I'm anti-cracker when it comes to charcuterie, of course. But yes, it's just shaped in the shape of the map of Liberia is actually what it looks like.
Oh, there you go.
Great country of Liberia.
It'll be shaped like Cuba since it's half Cuban.
Oh yeah, no, half of it is shaped like Cuba and half of it is shaped like the American Nightmare. That's how that goes.
What else is going on in the news?
Well, according to the gossip websites, Roosh, his future is up in the air. He's no lock to stay with All Elite Wrestling. It is said that Roosh is being paid quite handsomely with AEW, more than he would be paid in NXT in terms of standard pay, and he might need main roster money to come to WWE, but his services are up for grabs, and the gossip websites are saying, or at least gossiping, that Roosh could be part of WWE if the price is right. Are we excited for Roosh in WWE or NXT, Issa?
Maybe. We'll see. Remember what I just talked about with expectations?
Yeah, we'll lower them.
Yeah.
We expect him to be on AEW Dark, the reboot. That's what I'm expecting. Anything better than that, I'll be excited.
That 2112 is a banger of an album. No, I think if but that's this is gonna be the problem. Money is going to be the issue with a lot of this. I think a lot of these AEW guys, got in with a company that wasn't in the factory business of warehousing wrestlers. So there were probably a lot of people signed to initial AEW contracts that got way overpaid. And I hate to say this because I'm not even going to name them, but some of my favorites that have already been not had their deals renewed with AEW. Some of the people that fell by the wayside, like legitimately, I bet you TK looked at it and was like, we paid them too much. And now we're going to seem like assholes if we come back and say like, oh, we can give you like a third of this to stick around. And, they're better off leaving. But I don't know that WWE is going to get that. I think Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be the litmus test because he makes all the sense in the world as a WWE wrestler or as an NXT wrestler. If they can come to terms with him on money, like we know this is an attainable pathway, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to ask for $500,000 a year to go to WWE, to go to like NXT or go right to the main roster. And I don't think they're going to get that.
That's the least they should be asking for. And I know WWE, based on how they value their talent, maybe wouldn't pay them something like that, but the money they're going to be making and what these wrestlers really should be worth, if they were like a sporting league and they actually unionized whatnot, would be far more than $500,000. Sure. It's a couple million. They should all be paid.
When they unionize, stay tuned.
Yeah, that'll never happen. But the thing that hurts AEW, as much as I would like it to happen, the thing that hurts AEW is that, especially with these mid-tier guys like a Roosh in his position, Roosh, whatever you want to call him.
Roosh.
Tomato, but I say Roosh. But the guys like Roosh and in this, Brian Pillman even, you look at AEW, they just got rid of two darks, right? Methinks Rampage in the long run might be folded into a third hour of Dynamite. Like, I don't know how much longer Basically Rampage can be viable. So we're looking at this product with one flagship show versus the biggest wrestling company in the world in its hottest period in a long time, and God knows when, with more money than God and what they're going to be making, with 3 different flagship shows because they're really building up NXT. You're looking at that as like a mid-card guy who wants to make the jump in his career. I don't know how you stay with AEW. Like in AEW where it's backed up with talent with one show.
I know.
I don't know how you stay with AEW if you're any of these guys.
Tony D'Angelo still has to keep his hand in organized crime to make ends meet in NXT. That's how bad the pay is,
Well, they allow you to do organized crime. That's another reason to just go over there.
That's true. You could drive for Uber or you can run a diploma mill like Chase U,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you got options. No, I think that this is where the rubber is going to meet the road. And yes, the lack of collective bargaining, the fact that AEW, they can't afford to keep all the toys that they're not playing with on a regular basis. And I think that WWE learned that a long time ago. And WWE, by the way, kind of creeping towards max capacity as well. When you look at everyone they brought back, look at everyone's not being used. Hit Row did a great Barbie.
They did another
track today.
Listen, say what you will about Top Dollar and the way WWE's done him wrong. This guy's been snapping on Twitter.
Yes, and not on TV. That's the point.
That's the point. It's a problem. But he has had had a great freestyle a couple weeks ago, the Superfly freestyle, and then the Barbie freestyle was great as well. I mean, this guy is just wasted talent every day. But I still believe in the talent. I think he's going to overcome it eventually.
I think so too. But if Pillman Jr. doesn't sign, like he's the only prospect I can think of right now, short of a main eventer leaving AEW. He's the only prospect I can think of that's a no-brainer for WWE.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite say no-brainer, but I would love to see him in WWE. I think it would be a very interesting, like you said, a litmus test and seeing not only how they use him, but what the pay is going to be and how people negotiate around that.
Yeah. So we'll see. But with Roosh, I don't know, man. It's a weird time right now. It's a weird time.
Roosh. That should be a drop. Issa saying Roosh should be a drop.
Yeah, I got that somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Got it somewhere from before. Had to back off the drops. They were taking over the show.
Before we get to this next story, a parting shot, just word to the wise, Brian Pillman. Anybody who signs with WWE before they get broken off with this big deal is a fool. You gotta, I mean, I think Brian Pillman is smarter than that, but wait it out, look at the money that they get, and then sign with WWE because they're about to come up.
Yeah, but how's that gonna work? Could you imagine a wrestler goes into negotiations and is like, so you got this big deal here. Must have a lot of bankroll sitting around. Can afford to pay a premium for one legacy wrestler with a mullet. Don't hold out on me, Vinnie Mac. I know you got those dollar bills in your mattress.
You don't got to say that. You just wait. You just say, you know what? I'll get right back to you guys after I take my dog for a walk for about 3 months. And then when I'm coming back from my walk, we'll talk.
And AEW,
you're going to go get cigarettes.
Yeah, there you go.
And hopefully come back. But AEW overpaying is what drove up. I mean, this is like one of the most underreported stories in wrestling. AEW not knowing what they were doing and overpaying for these contracts is why WWE was doing these re-signs at hefty premiums for the better part of the last 3 years. Yeah,
I mean, overpaying is subjective. I completely understand where you're coming from. Given how big they are, yes, they probably spent too much on wrestler salaries for a company that would want to make a profit. But you could also argue that this is what these wrestlers are worth, and any wrestler that's
I agree it's what they're worth, but
like
this is the world we're living in.
Yes,
that's
great.
WWE made Bayley buy a ticket to get into SmackDown last week,
and Charlotte.
They're a cheap company, no comps.
Well, let's go to some good news for AEW in that Blood and Guts, as expected, did a very good rating, 953,000 viewers. That is up 16% from last week, 441,000 in 18-49 for a Blood and Guts show featuring the real main event to me, MJF and Adam Cole against Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. And they finally delivered that double clothesline. That's what I think did the number. But Blood and Guts, big number for AEW. And what are our thoughts about this MJF and Adam Cole storyline? I'll start with you, Issa.
I'm loving it. I'm so sports entertained. And I'm here for it. I hope they don't I hope they book it right. I don't know who's getting, who's behind the creative here, but props and shout out to them. It's the most interesting that Adam Cole has been since his time in AEW, if you want me to be honest, and MJF makes everything work. I'm here for it. When they paired them in the tag team tournament, I was like, oh, why are they doing that? They just had a match. You know what I mean? They were feuding. I wasn't with it, and they proved me wrong with this one. I'm truly enjoying it, and I look forward to all their segments.
I enjoyed the dancing.
Yes, they're sports entertaining, man. That's how you get stuff done these days.
And by the way,
everything they did was great.
This dovetails into the last story. Why are some people in AEW not getting renewed? Because they need more money to give MJF when his deal comes up, to give Adam Cole when his deal comes up.
Pelvic thrust. That's why they're not getting re-signed.
Yeah,
that should be the news. That should be the new standard.
Just come out and just like,
yeah,
have some. I learned to do the spinneroonie too, because everybody was doing that spinneroonie now. I think it's great. The only thing I will say is that it seems like AEW is like dead set on their plans, which were clearly made before they saw how over the storyline is getting, and that they went forward with teasing that they're having tension. If you want a new bloodline, these teases need to be few and far. All they should have done is Adam Cole glances at the title for a little too long, and then he just snaps out of it, and nothing else happens. We need to take these things slowly. I don't care what their plans are for this storyline. I don't want to see these guys break up for at least another 6 months.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, because the world title hasn't even been mentioned throughout the storyline. Mm-hmm. They're here chasing the tag team titles. They're shooting, maybe after they win the titles, you start seeing a little bit of, you have two belts and I only have one kind of situation, but I didn't like the teasing of that already.
Yes.
It's so easy, the visual, to help build this world title back up. MJF and Adam Cole win the tag titles. They're holding up a tag title on each hand, and then they're both holding on to the world title. And you got Cole looking at it, with them both holding on to it. And that's just another visual that you can give people, but you slowly drag this out. This is not something, this is the storyline that really can help them get competitive with WWE again. You're going to do it by sports entertaining. You've dropped each other on your necks. You've almost paralyzed each other and all that stuff. And it hasn't really gotten you that much closer. This will.
Mm-hmm. Take it from Alfred Konuwa and Alfred Konuwa's new book, The Art of Seduction, tips for professional wrestling booking that you can use in romance and your everyday life.
That's too wordy. It's just that the book is called Why Paralysis is Bad, a story by Alfred Konuwa. Based on a true story, by the way. Oh, speaking of potential paralysis, I have some horrible news about a story that we reported on Tuesday to follow up on it. Ryback and Booker T will not be on site. On-site season has ended as fast as it began. Booker T will not be fighting Ryback. He said on his podcast, the Hall of Fame podcast, that Ryback wants money. He suggested that he would do a 10 paces duel, which ends in a death, which was in the John Wick movie. I'm not going to tell you how it ended, but John Wick, I mean, just a GOAT movie. I spent my vacation watching a lot of John Wick, but they want Ryback, or Booker T suggested a duel, but he's not doing it because he's not going to pay Ryback. He no longer wants to deal with these shenanigans. So potentially one of the biggest drawing events in the history of our sport is No More Glenn.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We're talking about Ryback and Booker T. On Tuesday on NXT reported that Booker T was open to fighting Ryback. He agreed to fight Ryback. It was on site. He said, anytime we are together in the same building, as long as Ryback consents, it will be on site. But it's no longer on site. And I don't know how I'm going to get to the rest of this podcast personally.
Ryback's still a thing. I thought he was shadow banned.
He tends to get a lot of attention for himself.
Blocked everybody. I think he probably blocked you. He blocked me.
Is he? Yeah. Did he block you too? He says everybody on this podcast blocked.
I don't know. Let's go find out. Where? Twitter? Is that where I'm looking?
Twitter, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Much like HBK, Ryback has blocked me for reasons unknown.
He doesn't have me blocked, but I have him muted.
Oh, there you go.
Ryback.
So
but I'm not
news.
blocked.
Now, everybody,
Congratulations.
tonight,
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
we're going to dive into the SmackDown. Send in your super chats. Send in your other chats. I see everybody.
Thumbs up, share.
I'm sorry?
Subscribe. I say leave a thumbs up, share, subscribe,
Yes.
you know.
Click that bell notification.
Yes.
Leave a rating and review. Good crowd tonight in here for a Friday. They're not watching Rampage. We started
Or
a trend.
Death Before Dishonor.
Oh, that's nice as well. Yes. Shout
Yeah,
out
Aussie Open are the new tag team champions. I did see that.
to. But we got a good crowd in here tonight. We're gonna chop this up, talk all about SmackDown. The three of us together again. It was so weird not doing it Tuesday. Issa, what do you think about Dirty Dom? Again, how did that pass the Google test, but nothing else has? Dirty Dom.
I knew it was gonna happen. The interaction between Dom and Tony is what really made the episode for me. I watched it entirely too many times. It was perfect. Actually, it was just perfect. My favorite thing about that interaction was Rhea Ripley. If you watch her behavior, she stays on character. She knows the little things. You know, she's very defensive until Dom kind of gives her the nod, and then she just goes into that shield position. All right, Tony's cool with us. You know, I really like that. I'm happy for Dominic Mysterio. And look at the number that NXT did. I know a lot of people were not happy with it, but I love it. And remember when people wanted Dominic to go to NXT? So now we got Dominic in NXT, and they're mad. Fickle.
I just want everybody in Bloodline. And see, that's a Freudian slip, by the way, because they are trying to recreate the Bloodline through the Judgment Day. And I want everybody in the Judgment Day to have a title. So I'm really going to be pulling for Finn Balor to beat Seth Rollins, because I think that's what's going to pop off this Judgment Day storyline of them dominating.
Well, we saw Dom's first title defense tonight. We'll get into that when we get to that segment.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw Rhea Ripley confirm on social media that her and Dom have a very passionate love life.
Poor Buddy Matthews, man. I hate it had to be him. Poor Buddy Matthews. Hang in there, buddy.
Cookie Matthews.
Would you like to quote what she said they were doing? Because there's a very specific word she used.
They're making romance.
Oh, making romance. I don't
Sexy
think that many syllables.
Single syllable romance, girl. That's what I'm all about. Should have been my senior quote. So tonight, SmackDown, we did have the Judgment Day in effect, but we opened with the Fatal 4-Way. Now, many people thought last week, after LA Knight came out and cut a promo that was the biggest pop of all of SmackDown last week, that delighted the crowd, that was so over. He got this promo about this Fatal 4-Way to be a finalist to challenge Austin Theory for the US title, people said tonight's going to be the night. It's going to be the LA night because LA Knight is going to challenge and defeat Austin Theory at SummerSlam. And much like the 2014 Royal Rumble, where people were waiting for Daniel Bryan to be their number 30, instead we had Rey Mysterio and his moment of disappointing victory as a crowd booed as Rey won to go on to face Santos Escobar next week. And the winner will face Austin Theory for that title.
Booyaka.
Alfred, what is going on with the LA Knight push?
It's classic WWE babyface booking when it's somebody that got over organically. Now, WWE absolutely understands what they have in LA Knight. They've rolled out the merchandise. They have him go out and cut promos. They're treating him like the big star he is and capitalizing on the popularity. But in their warped mind, because of how the Daniel Bryan storyline went, which was completely against their will, they do think that if you keep beating a guy, and a lot of WWE fans think, a lot of loyalists lecture me about how, no, if you keep beating a guy, it'll make people want it more. And that is so antithetical. I'm not saying that it's wrong to make people wait to drag things out, but by beating a guy in wrestling, especially in WWE, you're just going to establish him at a certain level. And these fans, like Issa just said, can be very fickle. One day it's LA Knight, the next day it's Gunther, the next day it's Cameron Grimes. There's always going to be a people's champion type wrestler out there. You got to strike while the iron's hot here. And I just think this was grade A fuckery to beat LA Knight the way they did. I get they probably have a plan for him, but this guy's too popular to not go into SummerSlam and have at least a big match.
Yeah. And the SummerSlam card is building up. We have quite a few matches, so I just don't see them building a feud for him in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, I was for sure thinking it was going to be Grayson Waller last week, and I was for sure thinking it was going to be LA Knight this week. And it's weird the way that they have gone. I thought the match was good. I thought Cameron Grimes was there to take the pin, right? There was a part of me that kept thinking, okay, if LA Knight is not the guy, I didn't think he also was going to take the pin. Like, that really, really shocked me. And I think okay, there's a part of me that's super hyped. I'm not even gonna lie. I think the Santos and Rey are gonna freaking put on a banger, a Lucha Libre classic. But I like LWO. So I hope we don't go into the direction of putting tension in the LWO. It feels like it's a faction that's sticking together and they're not, doing this kind of BS with them. So I thought that LWO was gonna be a thing for a little while. I'm hoping this is a mentor and protege, kind of match where they just like give us a banger and that's the end of it. But yeah, I'm very, very shocked that it wasn't LA Knight tonight. And I haven't really been all in the LA Knight train. I'm just now kind of getting into it. But even then, I really thought it was going to be him. Yeah. At least taking the pin, that's the part that like really shocked me.
He should have said yeah. He should have been like, yeah. Whose game is it? He should still just keep cutting promos like he won.
Yeah.
They did a little short. WWE did a little short of the different yeahs of LA Knight. They could have put the loser and like after he ate the pin.
Oh, he's like, yeah. I think it's good. I mean, but Rey versus Santos, like, okay, Rey doesn't need another title in the history of his career. Like, Rey's good, right? Good for Santos. Austin Theory on a commentary tonight. Like, Austin Theory is what's the opposite of over? Like, he's not. Under? Yes, he's under. Austin Theory is under. I mean, I think that shaking it up and having him lose the title could actually be good for him. Could give him a little bit of a reboot. But I mean, I like this match fine. But Cameron Grimes, afterthought.
And they're not giving him any, like, what did they say about him? He's hardworking, and it's like he's hardworking. They're not telling you anything about this guy. He's just a guy out there who can wrestle.
So weird.
Yeah.
This is just a bummer. And we had a lot of NXT.
I loved it. They're in Orlando. I love the inclusion of the NXT people in the show tonight.
I know.
And it was well done. It didn't feel forced, and I'm loving everything that they're doing with main roster and NXT. Keep it going.
I know.
They shouldn't just wait until they need to get a check. Like, I understand what the game is. They shouldn't just wait till they need to get a check to highlight NXT like this. But I'm loving it. NXT
But
feels
whose
like
game
such a
is it,
hot product
Alfred?
right now.
Whose
true.
game is it?
LA Knight and Cody Rhodes or Cody Rhodes.
All those faces in the audience, I was fantasy booking all the call-ups they're going to botch when they get called up to the main roster.
You think so? Triple H and Shawn Michaels working together, I think is going to be a lot more synergy, and I think they're going to be on the same page in terms of a lot of these call-ups. Cameron Grimes, I wouldn't even say he's botched. They just have him there. But most people who've been called up from NXT in the small sample size we have in the Triple H era have done okay. I mean, I wouldn't say there have been any like egregious botches where they're being used in a way that they weren't being used in NXT.
Historically, if you look at the odds,
historically
it's like 1 in 5 odds that it's going to go okay.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. But let's go. We have a super chat. Dylan Matthews, Australian 299, saying cousin Buddy's going through it right now. That's got to be a little weird.
Hang in there, buddy. It's just like, it's got to be a little weird. He's a good sport about it. Everybody's being professional, but professional wrestling, this industry of ours, has way too many examples of art imitating life when it comes to things like this. And I'll just leave it at that.
Kelvin R. Alexander, $5, saying Charlotte was sweating Tiffany Stratton sitting in the crowd. She was feeling the pressure.
They really put over Tiffany Stratton.
She came across well tonight. I believe
Wade Barrett, this is probably a program line, and he said this is the most naturally gifted competitor in the history of WWE. I believe they said.
He said we have ever seen. I heard it. I picked up on that real quick too.
Yeah, they didn't put Mello over they didn't put anybody over the way they put Tiffany Stratton. So when she gets to that main roster, boy.
Yeah, she's going to be there sooner rather than later. I don't think Thea Hale's winning, but I think Tiffany Stratton's getting that nod soon. So after LA Knight fans had their hopes and dreams crushed, we had Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky. We also saw Tony D'Angelo backstage, the cat with Stax, who's not an informant. The Cavender twins were there. Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, Tiffany Stratton. Austin Theory found Adam Pearce backstage, setting up a match against Santos Escobar tonight, which makes all the sense in the world given that Santos is facing Ray for an opportunity to face Austin Theory at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
None
of that makes sense. It was weird and it was unnecessary.
And then we had a very lengthy recap of Cody's segment from Raw with Brock Lesnar attacking.
Love that. Great segment.
Never too long.
So,
and yes, it was Cody's segment. I appreciate that. Recognition.
Charlotte Flair versus Io Sky tonight with Bailey on commentary. Bailey stealing the show.
Always.
Right.
What they did with Toxic too, I liked.
Yeah. We were talking last week how like when you're distracted by commentary, it's either very bad or very good. And last week with Austin Theory was an example of very bad. And this with Bailey was very good. I think her and Michael Cole have this like little brother, big sister, or vice versa relationship where they just snip at each other. And Wade Barrett like instigating it and ganging up on Michael Cole, I think made it even better.
I love Bailey and Michael Cole's rivalry is one of my favorites of all time.
Yes. Great feud.
So Charlotte beat Io during this match. We confirmed that it will be a triple threat because Asuka attacked Charlotte after. So Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte for the championship. It's SummerSlam.
Banger.
And will Io Sky cash in? But then tonight, we now are in full rivalry mode with Shotzi, who shaved her head, tormenting Bailey.
Yeah. I'm glad we're going somewhere with it and we're doing something with it. I appreciated it.
Mm-hmm. There were scissors in Bailey's duffel bag, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for someone else.
Pregnant pause. I'm not going to follow up on that.
I'm just waiting for someone to make an AEW joke. There's an AEW joke there.
That could be copyright infringement. Yes, but I hope they have a match at SummerSlam. I think that'd be great to see Shotzi have a match at SummerSlam.
Issa just got the joke and shut her camera off.
No.
Yeah, I think that match will happen the night before. So I would love for it to be at SummerSlam, but I'm setting my expectations because it's WWE.
I am really happy with there's a couple of just feud matches for the women happening at SummerSlam. If we get, Becky and Trish, you have Ronda and Shayna. These are just non-title feuds, and that's something that we haven't been seeing with the women. So if we add Bayley and Shotzi in there, that's fun. It's fun to see stories that don't revolve around the title.
And on top of that, the women have been drawing in WWE. Different women's segments have been the highest quarter hours. So, you can talk all you want about like inclusion and stuff like that, which is all good and well. But at the end of the day, it's about the almighty dollar. And you are going to draw more ratings lately with women. So it's good to see all these women not only being included in this segment, but drawing very good numbers in a very hot time for WWE.
For the lone women's match and segment on the show, I mean, this was like 15, 20 minutes. We had multiple storylines moving. Like this maximized the minutes and got a lot done. And I give it credit for that. I mean, the match was okay, but I think it's I'm really looking forward to the SummerSlam match. And I think Bayley and Shotzi could be awesome. So I'm very excited about that. The Slayer 94 wants to know, what is it with Michael Cole and the ladies?
In what way? Because he's got the beef with Bayley. Is there other women that he has problems with?
I think it's really just Bayley. I don't know.
Michael
Calvin saying Tiffany also wrestled Kiana James in a SmackDown dark match.
Nice.
I really hope they're not fast tracking Tiffany to this main roster. Like, she needs to develop an NXT. I know things move so fast in wrestling, but a year minimum. Like, she literally I don't think she's been doing wrestling for a year.
Oh, the Slayer's talking about Michael Cole and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, that's right. He did get it. Yes. Because Rhea's just catching strays because Michael Cole hates Dom. He's like the most incensed when it comes to Dominic Mysterio. So Rhea just has to catch some of those strays.
So here's my question. If as a consolation prize, does LA Knight get to host SummerSlam? Does he get the segment where he comes out and talks?
I'm sure he's going to come out and talk. Maybe it'll be during the kickoff show. Maybe it'll be at some point in the show to get the crowd back going.
Well, who's the surprise guest that joins him? Is it Eminem or Kid Rock?
It's a good question. What about Kiss?
They're
from Detroit, right?
No, but Detroit Rock City.
But they're not from Detroit?
They're from New York, dude. They're from
They're false flagging?
No, they just wrote a song about Detroit. Doesn't mean they're from Detroit. They wrote a song about Detroit because Detroit was one of the first markets where Kiss blew up. As someone who paid the $12 to tour Gene Simmons' personal memorabilia collection at the Rio Hotel, I think I know a thing or two about Kiss. Wow. And Detroit was one of their first big markets.
Eminem has a song called 8 Mile because he's from Detroit. He's not from New York talking about 8 Mile. What
if ICP, also from Detroit?
Underrated banger. 8 Mile is a great song.
It's a great song. Wonderful song.
Yes. But what if we get the Insane Clown Posse returning to WWE?
That'd be fun. But according to Eminem, they are not from Detroit. They just claim it, just like Kiss. And they wear face paint. These liars with face paint lying about where they're from. It's out of control.
I mean, ICP's from Detroit.
They live 20 miles away from Detroit.
Yeah, but like in a worse neighborhood than Detroit. Like, imagine that, if you will, because parts of Detroit,
that's why the yuppies in Hoboken saying they're from New York City. Okay, that's not how it works.
By the way, I'm going to have to do some research as to where to stay in Detroit because I know they're on the come up, but it's still Detroit.
I was listening to Wes Borland, a guitar player from Limp Bizkit, who has moved to Detroit where he has a cat sanctuary and does his industrial artwork. And he was saying when you go out in parts of Detroit, you have to bring a machete and it's for like protection against people or wild dogs because there's just shut down neighborhoods.
Doesn't the Juggalo logo have a machete or is that a
hatchet? It's the hatchet.
Man. That's what it is. Okay.
Yes. So we got some super chats here. There we go. Malik Black, Bayley and Top Dollar versus Michael Cole.
Let's go. That. I love that.
Like they did a Barbie rap. They're in the zeitgeist hit row, and they can't get these on TV.
You know what they got to do? They just got to say, "Okay, Top Dollar, this is your one shot."
One opportunity. Right? This is everything I ever wanted.
You get 1 minute to freestyle anything you want about Michael Cole. You get 1 minute. And I think it would just make him into a superstar.
Calvin Alexander saying Maxine was fast-tracked as well, but it's working out well for her.
Yay.
It is, but they're telling the story with Maxine that she's like a rookie. So they're not only are they keeping her limited in storyline, but also in real life. So like the story with Maxine is she does very little because she's coming along and she's learning. And I mean, I don't know how many people you want to do that with. And I don't know how often Maxine is going to be wrestling. She's been mostly a manager for the time being. And I think 80% of the time she's going to be in the manager role. Tiffany Stratton is going to be like the next Charlotte Flair. She's going to be put in that alpha position as a top star. And if you rush her in there and people get exposed to how green she is, if she's not in there with the right people, it's really going to hurt her in terms of being seen as a star.
Yeah. Well, Dominic Mysterio was backstage talking to Kayla Braxton. And
Dirty Dom, please.
Dirty Dom.
Dirty Dom.
Double D.
Dirty Dom. He's a Dom. Rhea's the sub. Or is Buddy Matthews the sub in this situation?
They're all subs over here. I'm real subs over here. I will. Yeah. Anyways.
So he mentioned that he's the North American champion, which is like the US champion, but 27 other countries.
That was a great line.
Yeah,
he was talking about he's trolling his dad. He was saying Rey Mysterio, if he wins, he may be the US champion, but I'm the North American champion. Then he started adding countries and then they had to cut him off.
Yeah, that was good. Butch wanted a title shot. Shawn Michaels made it official.
Butch.
Huge pop for Shawn Michaels.
Yes, we saw Bayley backstage with the photo of Bayley with the scissors. Bayley got out of there. And then we had Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar. A little preview, perhaps. Santos Escobar getting the win. Man, I'm worried Santos is going to lose to Rey next week.
Yeah, I mean, if they already gave this match away, that's what it makes me think. And if Santos loses to Rey, I think that's a scenario where eventually they could tease tension. Like if Rey beats Santos, or if Santos beats Rey, it's like, okay, the young lion is on the come up and they're not going to turn Rey heel, but I could see them making him jealous of Rey.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they are going to book this match, but between Rey and Santos. But this match didn't make any sense tonight. What they did with Austin Theory and Santos, but great win for Santos, and I always have fun watching him in the ring.
He's great.
He's so great, but it just didn't make any sense. The title was not on the line. We have this thing going on next week. It felt odd. This whole angle. And you know what? Anything involving Austin Theory feels odd. Just get the title off.
But I think he's going to retain because Rey doesn't need it. I don't think they're going to give it to Santos. Like it should be LA Knight. They should call an audible. Somehow LA Knight should get in that match and take that title off Austin Theory.
If they're so dead set on waiting for LA Knight, like SummerSlam's a perfect moment to do something like that. I don't know why they would feel the need to do it in September.
So weird. Unless, I mean, is Priest cashing in?
It could always happen. We established that precedent last year.
You know what? Maybe that is happening.
No, that would be so weird. Like if you've got Finn Balor this close to the world title and then he just cashes in on... I mean, there's potential gold in Finn Balor having the world title and Damian Priest having the Money in the Bank, so you never know when he's going to cash in. I think that's a wonderful storyline.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll see what happens. The Slayer 94 with an update saying, I can validate the D, which is a sentence alone. Let's just leave it at that. I can validate the D. Only several small parts of Detroit. A GAT is needed.
Okay, so it's getting better. I think I'm going to have to bring my... do they have Walmarts where I can get a GAT in Detroit?
I think you can. And Michigan is one of those states, isn't it? Where you can just
be blicked up in the press box at WrestleMania or at SummerSlam.
So after Santos won that match, Bobby Lashley was backstage talking to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams.
Yes, Bobby Lashley.
Give me a Nation of Domination reboot. We saw how successful it is with LA Knight doing The Rock. I can do a Nation of Domination reboot. It should be everybody. Them, the Street Profits, even Shelton and Cedric Alexander. I need the Nation of Domination.
And then put LA Knight in it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. He'll be the Owen Hart.
There you go.
Yeah, he would.
Owen Hart, by the way, fit in the Nation of Domination like a glove. As crazy as that sounds, like he looked like like he was standing out, but he fit right in there when they were cutting promos and stuff like that. He looked like he belonged.
Okay. So the North American title match everyone's been waiting for. Dominic Mysterio defended his championship. Dirty Dom defended his championship against Butch. And we had a cameo from Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince being wheeled down in Prince William.
Hilarious.
Oh my god, so many good characters in this segment.
I love when Wade Barrett was like vouching because he has legit had shoulder injuries, and he goes, "No, when my shoulder was hurt, my glutes were on fire."
I'm glad Pretty Deadly's still on TV, even with the injury.
Yeah, it makes you think how long the injury is. I hope they're kayfabing that it's months. That would be crushing. I hope it's really not going to be that long, and they're just because they're still on TV, and that's good.
It feels like there might be kayfabing a little bit just because of the fact that they already kind of had him kind of fake how injured he is tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
This was a great match. The involvement of Rhea is a thing that happens a lot. But I have fun because it wasn't just your typical Dirty Dom booking with Rhea doing all the dirty work and him getting the win. You had the Pretty Deadly, you had Rich Holland. There was a lot going on here, but it was fun. And Dirty Dom successfully defended his North American Championship, which is way better than the United States Championship.
Well, it's got more countries. Calvin R. Alexander saying that low down Dirty Dog Dom. That would be better. That Dirty Dog Dom, Triple D.
Low down Dirty Dog. What it feels like Seth freaking Rollins, where every time they address Dominic Mysterio, they had to say that low down Dirty Dog Dominic Mysterio.
Like, what is it, a Western? Like, I saw him shoot a man just to watch him die. This was a fun segment. This was a fun match. I liked everyone else getting involved in it. It was pretty good.
I love when Prince got off and they started saying commentary. He magically healed.
Yeah,
I pop for that every time.
No, it was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun. Calvin R. Alexander, $2 saying love seeing Trick and Mello with Bobby.
Dang, dang.
Pop.
And Paul Kyoko, $2 saying Nation of Domination reboot. Let's effing go.
Let's get it. I'm here for it. Not the Hurt Business. The Nation of Domination. Let's go to the 90s and pull it back, okay? We're going to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Triple H era tomorrow. Congratulations, July 22nd. I have a whole piece on it. They kind of put us on the black border, so I'd like to see black people back on my TV as militant black men. I would love it. Nation of Domination. Let's get it.
Alfred, you're not allowed to say gang gang unless you do it on your NPC character.
How does that sound?
I don't know, like a robot, and then you have to say ice cream so good.
What I'm trying to figure out, I'm just waiting for it. Who's going to be the first wrestler on air to make a try that in a small town joke?
I thought you were going to say who was going to do the NPC gimmick.
No, but that's good too.
Yeah.
No, I think Nation of Domination reboot would be pretty lit. That would be pretty good. Triple D.
I mean,
I'll
temper my expectations because remember they were teasing and they had them in the background like they were going to bring back the Hurt Business, and then nothing happened with that. So hopefully, I mean, this isn't in the background. This is something they're doing on television. So hopefully they do have plans.
This is the problem with this gosh darn Easter egg culture right now, because it's like it's the Marvel DC idea of like, oh, we just put something in the background and that's world building. Like we're teasing it.
Yeah.
You know? There we go. Dylan Matthews, Cody Luther Rhodes in the Nation of Domination.
Let's go. Yeah, I'd rather have Cody Rhodes than LA Knight in the Nation of Domination. I love them both, but no offense to LA Knight. I think Cody Rhodes could and you got to bring Brady in, you know? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Cody Rhodes to lead the LWO.
Well, he could. There you go.
He could. The man can do everything. Cody Rhodes to take over the Bloodline.
Oh, that's going to happen.
And Judgment Day, and he'll unify them.
How many you read that?
Oh, no, I got it, Alfred. You said plug your ears. Cody Rhodes does 23andMe and finds out he's actually related to a member of the tribe.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So that would mean that Roman Reigns and Dusty Rhodes, maybe he's his biological son too?
Yeah. Think about it. Speaking of which, the main event tonight. Oh, next week, Carl Anderson's facing Karrion Kross.
Can't wait.
You got to read this super chat from Malik Black.
Noam Dar is definitely joining the Nation of Domination.
Let's go. He already might be in the Nation of Domination right now, but they can make it official.
He runs it.
Oh, he was so good this week, everybody. NXT is the best darn show in all professional wrestling.
You guys want to know something, by the way? I'm
Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
but I just
No,
have
go
to
ahead.
mention that my power literally went out when Tony D'Angelo and Dom stare at each other.
Oh my
Wow,
god.
that's suspicious.
Yeah.
I don't
They're
think that's a
coming for me.
coincidence.
Me too.
They are coming for you.
We had the rules of engagement segment with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, and Jey don't need no contract. It's in the blood.
Idiot. Rookie.
Tribal combat.
I feel a little bit like I got worked because they've got all these names, Tribal Court for their segments. This is just Samoan for contract signing. Like this, all this was. I thought this was going to be like there's going to be rules of engagement.
Like Foster's is Australian for beer.
Yeah, exactly. But there's no David Spade. It was just a contract signing.
Wait,
why do they have to call it rules of engagement?
Rules of engagement. Took a minute there. I understand.
It was on for a very long time, that show.
Like shockingly long.
Yeah.
But who watches CBS? Except like your parents.
The Midwest.
Yeah, it's true.
I watch CBS. Survivor and Big Brother. That's about it.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Big Brother, it's coming back.
It's coming on. Oh my
Soon.
god, they start so late.
Yeah,
We're
they start in
usually like
August.
halfway into it by now. I'm
I
like,
know.
they're really making us wait for this one. Yeah, I will say here, it was a very weak segment, but when Roman has to work with someone like Jey Uso, what can you expect?
Don't you just smirch the name of Jey Uso? He's been great in the storyline. I think they overpromised on this one, and maybe because they knew they were on FS1, they decided let's just give them like.
Roman
Diet
was
Bloodline.
not shook, Kelvin.
Calvin.
Roman came out there and showed he's a class act, and Jey Uso once again showed his true betraying clown colors. Okay,
Clown colors.
that's what happened in that segment. He stopped. He said, "Hey, are you sure you still want to do this? Giving the kid an opportunity to reevaluate his life." He stopped. So Roman is the good guy here, and people, I don't get you people.
Solo went to attack after Roman peacefully exited the ring when Jey got a super kick in.
Yeah,
So they're teasing
because
Roman,
he's
so-
a betraying piece of crap, turd, clown.
Jey Uso was bullied. He was gaslit. He was abused by somebody who was supposed to be part of his family, and he is taking matters into his own hands. And personally, I love it.
Whatever.
The Slayer 94 saying he saw that Roman was shook.
You didn't see shit. Get your eyes shut. Get your eyes shut.
Tribal combat. They should get the Mortal Kombat kids to come back and just yell out like tribal combat. Yeah.
Oh man, did that theme slap? Oh.
Did you read the interview about The Miz talking about how he lobbied hard for the role of Johnny Cage?
Yeah, he's talked about that a couple of times. I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Are you guys not gonna talk about what a class act Roman Reigns is?
Classy.
Yeah,
I
he
think
brought
Jey,
the pen. He had a pen. He had a contract ready.
Here,
he
use my
gave
pen.
him the opportunity to
Did you
like
core the
really think
contract
about
up?
it.
They did a
It's-
tribal handshake, and Jey was being classy as well. They butted heads, they shook hands, and then Roman's guy Solo had to attack Jey.
Yeah.
No,
And
it
that
was
was-
ridiculous. Jey Uso's gonna get his ass beat. His little brother's not gonna be there to save him this time.
And that was the lowest rated SmackDown of 2023.
Can't wait for Roman
But
to have real
Potentially the
content.
highest rated SmackDown in the history of FS1. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Dirty Dom draws, man.
Yeah.
Glad you call him Dirty Dom this time. I was gonna be worried about you. I know Benny the Bumper, and you want to watch out. Call him by the right name,
Double D.
Benny the Bumper. Yeah.
Ah, it was exciting. It's good to be back with you all. When are you all coming out to Vegas?
We got to come this summer.
Yeah,
During
we have
pool
to.
season.
I was just
Pool
saying.
season. Yeah, because the sunlight. That's what I live for. No, come on.
Well, I mean, the summer is right
Up
now.
all
so,
night, sleep all day, Alfred. That's how we do it here.
We'll get it. Let's do it.
We're going to
Well,
Jerry's Nugget. We're going across the street to Chico's Bonitas.
September could be a good time. That's a good time frame.
Yes.
Okay, let's all get together and plan it.
We're going to go see Carrot Top.
Yes, I'm down.
Glenn is gonna
Great.
put some freaking fire festival tents for us in the backyard for me.
Oh,
and
you could,
Alfred.
yeah. We're going to go see at least one Elvis impersonator.
Oh yes. Oh my god, that's gonna be. I'm vlogging that.
Harrah's, I heard, has a fat Elvis impersonator in the bar that does like heavy Elvis.
I thought they were all fat.
No, they got some ones that look like him when he did when he was young. Like
Okay,
they got,
fine.
there's a variety of Elvis impersonators out here. There's nuance here in Vegas.
I know they have Elvis chapels too.
Yeah, it'll be good. We're gonna go out. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna get into some misadventures.
Okay.
It'll be a good time. Looking forward to it. Issa, what do you want to plug? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm here on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You guys can also find me on my YouTube channel, NYC Demon Diva, Lucha Libre Online. Tomorrow, I will be at WWC Summer Madness event here in Puerto Rico. It's gonna be lit. So, vayamos Puerto Rico if you guys are there. That's where I'll be.
Alfred, what do you got coming up? Plug some dates. Plug some projects.
Check me out on Pro Wrestling Bits. I've just released a lot of content this week. Of most lately, the 5 blackest moments of the Triple H era. Check that out. A lot of fun I had with that bit. And in addition, a couple more like MJF and Cole, and I'm going to be talking more about them. I'd like to say hi to my new sponsor, Mint Mobile. This is Ryan Reynolds' company, and the world premiere of our commercial will debut next week. Ryan Reynolds does make a cameo appearance. That's all I can say about that. In terms of comedy dates, let me. I did organize them into dates. On August 1st, I will be right here in my home club at Flights Comedy Club, right here in Hawthorne, California. I'll be guest hosting at the Good Night here in Burbank every Thursday. You can find me at the Rival Comedy Club. Okay, so I am crossing the forbidden door, but I'm at the Rival Comedy Club, the fourth wall. Every week in Burbank on Thursdays, and I'll be at San Luis Obispo's Public Market, July 28th and 29th. So check me out all over.
And at Applebee's in Detroit buying me dinner.
Yes, come to Applebee's in Detroit, and then I'll go to Austin, Texas a couple weeks later. Come to Applebee's there as well. But yes, I'll be at the Applebee's in Detroit.
The Slayer has a pictogram for us.
Yeah, I see lies.
He's saying...
It's a lot of emojis.
Look shook.
He got his eyes. He's trying to say he got his eyes checked.
Yes. Kelvin Alexander, $2 saying Hangover Wrestling Inc. version. Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be good times.
Hopefully,
okay, everybody. Have a great weekend, everyone. Tuesday night, we're back here for NXT, the hottest show.
As long as my power cooperates, because Puerto Rico problems.
I know. Monday night, tune in for Jack Farmer.
No, don't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tune in for
And we'll get you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody.